Kendall Makamatin. I've got your sports now. Our top story in this hour is that the South African rugby team is now just 2 days away from making their entrance at the 2015 Rugby World Cup. Their first match is against Japan in Brighton, and the Springboks seem to be happy with that draw. They've got nothing but praise for the brave blossoms of Japan.
The Springboks have upped the intensity of their training ahead of this first ever match against Japan. There's excitement in the camp to face the hosts of the 2019 Rugby World Cup, and also to finally get going in the tournament after a long build-up.
Having come through the disappointments of the Rugby Championship, having come through some tough training over the last 3 weeks, I think there's a massive amount of energy and excitement going into this game. I think a big amount of respect for what the Japanese are going to bring. We've done quite a intensive analysis this week, and they're a team that is going to bring everything to the table.
Japan may be considered one of the so-called minnow nations. However, according to the Bok camp, times have changed in world rugby.
The supposedly lesser teams come to World Cups very, very well prepared, and they do not go away easily. They tend to go for very long, 70 minutes very often, and that is what's special about a World Cup.
The Springboks are playing at the Community Stadium in Brighton. It's a short train trip down the coast from their base at Eastbourne. Brighton has close links to South Africa. It was at the Clock Tower where a young Thabo Mbeki, a student at Sussex University, organised a 24-hour vigil against Ian Smith's Rhodesia in the 60s. And on the streets of this seaside resort, there are signs of the fast-approaching Rugby World Cup, although locals seem to be scratching their heads as to what all the fuss is about.
I'm not too keen on rugby.
And yourself?
I don't really understand it either.
To be honest, I know nothing about rugby at all.
I don't really know about rugby much. Not much, sorry.
There's plenty of fun to be had here at the seaside in Brighton, but not a lot of excitement ahead of the Rugby World Cup. The locals appear to be more interested in football, and that's a state of affairs that World Rugby is hoping to change in the coming weeks. Simon Burke, SABC News, Brighton.